Hey y'all, this is the collector on the corner, and Randy's over here doing unmentionable things to that poor engine. What are you doing to that engine, sir?
Well, this is a 19, I think it's 28 casting number on the block.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's a 1929 Chevrolet truck. And I got out here the other day to start it. And it hadn't been started in 37 years.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
And it had quit running. Our middle son was playing with it. He was a little kid then. He'd play with this all the time. It quit running on him, and I tore it down, and come to find out that roll pin is sheared off on the distributor. Got a distributor about, a little bigger than a silver dollar. I got to put it back in there. But anyway, I was going to get this running again just because. I had to find a starter that would work and the drive would work, but I got a starter on it, a good starter. And anyway, I was going to mess with it a little bit. But when we got this, it had a wooden bed on it and a wooden seat, and it had a cutoff of a buzz saw on the back. And that old boy had a sawmill, and what he'd do is take them slabs, he'd saw them slabs up on that buzz saw, running it off a belt off the back wheel. And he'd throw them in that bed, and then he'd drive around the little town of Raven Springs and sell that to everybody for cookwood back in the day, but way before I was born.
Yeah.
Anyway, I bought the sawmill at that auction too, and I bought this old truck, and that boy played with it. But it's not locked up. You can, Debbie will get around there on that side where she can see.
Yep, I see it turning.
It turned over. And it's weird. It's got a... We'll get up here and raise this off. That's a rough off of 50 Chevy.
Oh, you don't encourage people to crawl around out here, do you?
What happened to the oil fill cap?
Uh-oh.
Well, there it is.
You were, and there's the dipstick. The dipstick's right there too. You better put that back. Boy,
It's got an updraft carburetor.
when you play with stuff, you don't put nothing back.
It's got an updraft carburetor and a downdraft exhaust, so it's never rained in that engine. Probably the reason they stuck.
Yay.
But it seemed like it didn't foul the plugs or blow the blue clouds, but that's called a 194. It's a lot different than the 194 that was in the 52s.
Jesus.
But anyway, I thought I better do something with it. I got the transmission fixed.
I'd do something with it.
Had,
it's called the salvage yard.
no, he had poured Babbitt bearings in the transmission. Babbitt.
Who did that?
The guy who had this before we did.
Oh.
And they had wore out egg-shaped, and the cluster gear dropped away from the main shaft.
Cheapers.
I took that.
I think that's kind of
I took that
flat.
cluster gear, and I turned it down.
Yeah.
The ends of the shaft.
I'd have turned it down too and said no.
There's some ball bearings that fit on it that fit the case.
Oh, okay.
So I got that fixed. It's over there. I put it all back together. Well, I'm going to talk about something totally different now.
Okay, what are you going to talk about?
Trees.
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 Jeepers creepers, trees. Nice 55 Ford is for sale. There's my poor Pontiac. Aha, someone's been looking at your motor. I wonder who that varmint was. need to clean up around here. It's kind of messy.
I've heard that before.
You're kind of messy.
Well, as you can see,
Yeah?
Antique Rancho Randy has not got the rest of that tree buzzed up.
I didn't figure you would, Antique Randy.
Well, we ain't needed it for firewood, and it's been hot this summer. And
Yeah. It has been hot.
It was one of the things I could, put off,
procrastinate
about. So I got it out of the yard and off the house. It fell on the house last spring.
It did. Procrastinating, Randy.
Here.
Oh,
I don't
well,
like these stickers.
well, you got a whole passel of them over here and over there. Oh, and over there.
That's
Jeepers.
too big a job, too. I'll get you to do that. But anyway.
I'll get matches and gas. Okay,
There's
anyway.
been a spate of trees are blowing down. We'll walk up this way, dude.
We'll walk up here. Okay.
Lately.
Do 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 do.
Some of the people I'm
Do,
subscribed
do,
to,
do,
and I
do,
watch their
do.
videos.
Do 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 do.
Old Farm Junk 101.
Yes.
He had a tree blow down his backyard.
Uh-huh.
Ours barely missed the house.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
touched it. His barely missed some old trucks and stuff he had parked around her, just touched them.
Uh-huh.
Old car Discover, he had some fall on some cars. Barely missed them, barely touched them. Minor damage, lucked out.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I've got a truck up here I want to show that it didn't fare quite so lucky.
Do 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 do.
We ain't got many trees around here.
I know, because Chainsaw Randy showed up and he kept sawing them and sawing them and sawing them down, and I said, please leave me a couple of trees.
I did some of them.
I could almost track somebody. They have been through yes,
These walnut
my
trees,
property. And I think there's the culprit.
These walnut trees here,
Yes, the walnut
they
trees.
have grown since me and Debbie bought the place.
What did they grow
They
into?
wasn't even here. Them have grown since me and you bought this place.
Yes, I know.
Okay, let's go on up here.
Are they going to fall on me? Man alive, mister, you got an excellent crop of bitterweeds this year, sir. He runs off and leaves me, and I've got to watch for holes and places for me to fall and trip. I'm not as agile as I used to be. Yeah, I'm talking about me, because I'm important too. Oh, see, there's wire. Something for me to get wrapped around my ankles. Boy, you should have got out here and mowed a path. I'll try to walk the path of least resistance. And there isn't one. Okay, what are we looking for? Okay,
This truck right here,
this truck.
66 Chevrolet.
It's
Short
terrible.
wheelbase.
It's terrible.
Short wheelbase. See it right there on the hood?
Yes.
Across the road?
That's
It was sold new, but McNabb's McFall Chevrolet here in Pocahontas, right here locally. Probably never been more than 100 miles from home. And the old motor got wore out. The engine went down. and they parked it under a tree.
Phew, excuse me.
And I was never able to buy it until after a big oak tree. Limb fell out of the oak tree and did that to it.
Wow.
Pretty much ruined the roof of the cab. The hood's replaceable. But
What are
anyway,
you talking about? A good mechanic can get up there and
so when we bought
de-dent
this
it.
place here,
Yes.
there was an old boy come along and he brought a D8 bulldozer down here.
Uh-huh.
And that D8 got 6 of these pistons this big around in it.
You kept one of his...
Anyway, he brought that old D8.
Sorry,
It was made in the
bitter
early
reeds are getting to me, I
60s.
think. Yes.
Cable unit on the back, D8, power shift transmission, pony motor start.
Uh-huh.
He brought it down here, and I took that engine all apart and put new sleeves and pistons. And, we put, I think, $7,000 worth of new parts in that engine. 2 new rebuilt heads and new injectors and all that stuff. We redid that old engine, that old D8. And after I got it done, I told him, I said, I wanted to test that dozer out around back. And I come back here and I took that D8, and there was a dang old persimmon tree. Gigantic persimmon tree.
Why did you cut down my
And
gigantic
several more
persimmon
big
tree?
trees back here. And I hadn't put any cars back here yet. And I got that old D8.
The good old days.
Yeah, I pushed all them trees down. And most of them, the root wads on them was so big
How big were they?
that after I cut the stump off, the stump was so big we had to take the boom truck and lift them up and put them in the bed of a 4-yard dump truck, and they filled the bed plumb full. That's how big they was. And I took them down the river and dumped them off on a creek branch down by the river where the river was washing the bank away. But that's where them old stumps all went. And a neighbor lady owns this land behind me. She said, "What's the matter? Don't you like trees?" I said, "Yeah, I like trees good." I said, "Well, I don't like them shedding limbs and stuff on the car." And there's one big cedar tree, Debbie, that wouldn't let me take it down.
No.
She said it looked like a dinosaur.
It looked like Godzilla.
And it stayed there. So, we owned the store an acre then. Went by that D8. Come along, we bought this over on this side, and I did chainsaw them. See that stump? That was a big old cedar. That stump probably burned now. It sat there long enough.
Was that Godzilla?
No, that Godzilla cedar was down there.
Okay.
Anyways, and all around the house, there was big trees, and they was all leaning towards the house.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. There's an old pine tree out there, probably 150 years old, that wasn't any good, and it shedded them pine needles, and I don't like the sound the wind makes when it blows through the pines. I hated that pine
Only
tree.
didn't have any flowers on it.
So I went out there and took in for them all and double snatch blocks and chainsaw, and I wedged and I cut, and I managed to get all them trees around the house down onto the ground without hitting the house, damage anything.
I know.
And of course we cut that pine up in firewood, and somebody said they was gonna come get it. I said, "Go ahead and get it. Green pine won't burn. It's like that elm back there. It's got to really dry out before it's any good." Well, that winter come that big ice storm.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them trees that was around the house was hackberries.
Mm-hmm.
And I took her over to her place and showed her a big hackberry with all the limbs stripped off of it and top broke out. And that big Godzilla cedar that she likes so
I
good, it
know.
broke the top out and tore every limb down on it.
Godzilla didn't
Tore it to
win.
pieces. But most all these cedars around here got the tops broke out of them or root watered or something. Okay,
Okay, what?
getting back to cars.
You like cars, I know that.
There was this Hudson
Uh-huh.
pickup truck,
Mm-hmm.
maroon.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked pretty good sitting from the road. We was sitting back a ways from the road. And me and my middle son, we went down there and looked at it. It's supposed to be for sale. And that lady was there. She said we could go out and look at it. And we went out and looked at it, and it needed a lot of work. You know, 40-something Hudson. I don't know what year it was. I don't know if it was 42 or 46. It was long in there. But it was pretty much complete and everything, you know. It did something different. And we walked back up to the house there. I asked her if she knew how much she wanted for the old car. And she'd been watching Brett Jackson or listening to somebody, and she wanted like 5 fortunes for that car. And I tried to explain to her, yes, it is rare. But that also makes parts hard to find, you know, and it's hard to restore. And, you know, just because something's rare doesn't mean it's extremely valuable. And I told her we would just pass on it. And anyway, and she asked me as we were leaving, she said, well, how much would you give me for it? And I told her I'd give her $500 for it. I thought that was a plenty healthy offer at that time. It was years ago, 40 years ago. And she just got mad. Well, it rocked on there about 6 months over the winter. In the spring, late spring, she called one day and said, I'll take that $500 for that old Hudson. So we went on over, and she'd got somebody to pull it from the field up where's that, up close to her house. And they parked it out there in an oak tree, every big as that elm. Had blowed over and root watered and landed on that thing, and it was about 1 foot tall. You could barely see it under them limbs. It flattened that Hudson pickup to the ground, boy. Smacked it good, you know. So that was the end of the Hudson pickup. And what I'm trying to get across to you folks, that if you got any old vehicles or any tractors or anything you care about, get it out from under them trees and get it out of reach of them trees. And if there's trees that could potentially fall on your house, go ahead and get them removed beforehand. It'd be cheaper to remove them now than after they cause all that damage.
Yeah, but I like trees.
But what people don't realize now is there's really no native forest, a lot of native forest in this country. There's very few trees alive that was alive when the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock.
What
happens to trees is just like what happens to people.
They die.
They die of old age. They get a certain age and they die. Now around here, most of your red oaks and white oaks will die at about 75 years of age, and a post oak will live a little longer. He'll live to be about 100. But most of your trees die of old age. And we got a lot of bugs and stuff that has come into this country. Tree borers and elm borers and all different kinds of insects that are damaging trees. And a tree may look good and the roots are already dying and getting ready to let loose, and we've been getting a lot of wind.
Oh,
you know,
gosh, yes.
You know, it seems like it's more than usual. I don't know, you know, but I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the YouTube about people having trees falling. And I just thought, well, I'd do a video of that, and if I can help somebody to save an old car by moving it away from out from under a tree, I will. I don't like parking vehicles under trees. The leaves and stuff get on them. It took all the paint off of this truck. Them oak leaves, you got acid in it. It was under a big oak tree. But see how it took all the paint off the roof and the hood?
Are you sure it wasn't on fire?
No, it looks like it's been on fire, but it wasn't. It was just oak.
Oh,
see?
okay.
See down here where the leaves couldn't get?
Yep.
That paint still got life in it. That's pretty color.
Life in that there paint.
But anyway, I more or less got a title from this. I got the title. And this lady signed it, and she gave me some letters testamentary that she was the executor of the estate. But since that time, she's died. So I don't know, you know, it's viable anymore.
That's right. You waited too long.
I always thought I always thought I'd pull it out and clean it up and put a pretty good cab in the bed of it, put a different hood on it and put it for sale, let somebody else own it.
Mm-hmm.
Short bed trucks sell better, but I'd rather drive a long bed.
What kind of motor it got in it?
6-cylinder.
6-cylinder.
230. It's wore out.
230.
Wore out. I had it started, but it wasn't any good.
Nothing to brag about?
I think it'd been badly overheated.
Ah.
Is what I think's wrong with it. I used to drive this truck right here, this long bed.
Uh-huh.
And I used to drive that truck.
Uh-huh.
And that right there, when I got it,
yeah.
these guys, mechanics and stuff, I guess, they're a good body man for sure.
Uh-huh.
And I went up there and got this truck, and they said it won't pull.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you mean? They said it just won't pull. They said it won't hardly take off in first gear.
It ain't got a motor in it. That might be
well,
part of it.
Well, it had a 283 in it, and a 3-speed. Well, I got, like they said, you started up, I think, boy, you'd think you was going to burn the clutch up, get to take off. Well, it had big old tires on the back, oversized tires on the back, like 1050s or something, 15s.
Mm-hmm.
And I crawled under it and looking at it, and it had a overdrive transmission in it, and it was an overdrive. 3-speed overdrive.
Uh-huh.
And somebody wired up some switches and stuff on there, and they'd put overdrive transmission in it. And I just moved that lever on that cable back the other way and put juice to that solenoid where it'd go back in low gear, and it pulled in. I cut my winter's wood with it, with the frame. Frame rotted out on it. It's been from up north somewhere. You can see the rust in it.
Yeah.
The frame broke back there. I was hauling firewood in it, and the frame come apart because it rusted out.
Kablowied.
But anyway, that truck there, I was driving it, and I pulled the 283 out and put in a different truck, 3-speed. I put the rear end under a customer's truck, but it don't owe me nothing. Now I got title it. I had it licensed and insured in my name, and that there too. They're both licensed and insured in my name. I've got title to them.
Cool.
But anyway, that's the story about the trees.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, and the stuff that I got parked under these walnut trees, most of it I don't care much about. That old van, just storage van. There's another one right here a tree fell on. I got it give to me after the tree fell on it. Is that roof on that 1-ton truck?
Yes.
There's a tree fall on it.
Yep.
Tree fall.
That wasn't too bad.
But anyway.
I mean, it could be worse.
Oh, you could jack that back up and use it. I never will.
Mm-hmm.
But see, it was a 1-ton, custom 30.
Mm.
I think it's 68.
Wow.
Had 350 in it.
Wow.
I got that from old Cat Skinner.
Cat Skinner.
Got that car, same place. That belonged to his daughters. And they did something to it.
Oh, this car?
And I come along with somebody worked that frame, and I cut the frame out. Put it up on the side and cut the frame out. Now, there's one you can take a Shannon salvage and won't make Randy cry.
Really?
Yeah, you can haul that off.
Okay.
You can haul that off, you can haul that old station wagon off too.
Why, that looks like the one that Chevy Chase used.
Off that cab, you can haul that cab off. There.
Okay, you're being snotty to me, but
No, I'm telling you what you can haul.
oh.
All you gotta do is just do it. I don't know how you're gonna load them or.
I'm going to get out here with a torch, and I've never torched before, but I'm sure I can do it. You just start cutting it in pieces. It cost me about $400 or $500, but I'll have it ready to be hauled off.
Well, they told me, I heard a story about a big old red-headed boy
Uh-huh.
that would take and chop car bodies up with a chopping axe and split them all.
Well, I'm not that.
Where he could lift them up, throw them
I'm not that energetic.
Anyway,
I'm a grandma after all.
Well, say goodbye and good luck to you. And move them cars and whatever, your kid's swing set, you know.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know.
Take your own advice and move your cars out of my yard and my place of that ownership.
But
Please,
anyway,
thank you, and please like and subscribe, and comment below whether Randy needs to clean my yard.
we'll get back to it. Turn around. The only 2 trees that was here when we bought the place is that tulip and that elm, big trees.
Elmy.
Since that time, we've had a mimosa tree come up.
And that's
crepe
great.
myrtle.
That's
And
Grayson's.
the limb of the crepe elm got the crepe myrtle and beat it to the ground.
Oh gosh.
And I think there's one walnut tree, big walnut tree over there in the cemetery that was here.
Okay.
But there was a lot more trees in here.
Boy, I can see the
Yeah.
persimmons on the persimmon tree.
That first acre, I cleared them all out it with that dead bulldozer, and these others, I cut them off with a chainsaw. But
anyway, please like and subscribe, and y'all have a great day.
we're enjoying this cool weather.
Yes. Please like and subscribe. Bye. Lost my train of thought.
Goodbye.
Bye.